Good day, folks. Today what I find interesting is we have this really nice cold front moving towards Washington State. Also going to be talking a little bit about thunderstorm activity the next couple days, the rain, and the wind, and how some of that wind may affect some local fires. So jumping into it, looking at the satellite imagery right now, it's a pretty robust looking cold front moving towards Washington State. You can see the mid-latitude cyclone, low center spinning away up there. But all these flashes along the cold front indicate lightning. So it's a pretty intense cold front with lots of thunderstorms up and down the backside of the cold front. And as that cold front approaches the Washington coast, it's going to lose a little bit of its thunderstorm intensity, but there still is a chance that some flashes of lightning could occur later this afternoon with the passage of the cold front on the coast. And then once the cold front passage has occurred, there's going to be lots of unstable air behind this low that's going to bring multiple rounds of thunderstorms possibly overnight tonight into Wednesday morning. And then throughout the day on Wednesday, there's going to be renewed chances for some thunderstorms making its way onto the Washington coast. I was thinking about whether or not I could go out there and chase this week, but I think I may have just a little bit too much work to do this week, but I don't think it's going to be the only opportunity this autumn to chase thunderstorms out there on the Washington coast. And there's also a chance that there could be some thunderstorm activity possibly in areas around the I-5 corridor tomorrow, so that's where I'll be paying attention to for tomorrow personally. Looking at the reflectivity here on the HRRR, we can see that the rain is going to begin on the coast by about 1 p.m. and then overspread the rest of the coast as the afternoon goes on. And then the back side of this cold front here is going to be the most intense part for the coast, and that's when the thunderstorm activity could occur. And then for the rest of I-5, rain will begin by about 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and the cold front passage should be wrapping up this evening. And there's going to be a little bit of rain as well for east of the Cascades, but not a lot. And that's really one of the main things I want to talk about in just a moment here. It's going to be pretty windy with that cold frontal passage. I can see there's going to be some gusts up around 60 miles per hour over the open waters, and some of those higher gusts could make its way onto some of the beaches, especially places like the lighthouse down there by Cape Disappointment. Maybe Ocean Shores could get some big winds, but nothing particularly severe is expected. But there are some wind advisories for the north and central coast, which have been issued, as well as for the San Juan Islands. And it's going to get breezy in the interior of western Washington as well. It looks like Everett may get around 25-30 miles per hour possibly, which could be kind of fun. See the leaves rustling and whatnot. Now, this is one of the main things that I'm paying attention to right now in the state is we have this Labor Mountain fire, and according to the most recent heat signatures, it looks like it burned pretty hot on the eastern side of the fire overnight again, and also on the north side of the fire. So it made its way a bit further east and a bit further north. And my main concern is with the most recent round of rain, right here, this outline is where the wildfire is. It looks like the fire only got about 0.15 inches of rain. So really, for a fire, hardly nothing. Where the fire is actively burning, most of that rain probably just evaporated upon contact with the hot temperatures on the exact area that's burning. And then to the east of where the fire is burning and to the north of where the fire is burning, all it's going to take is maybe a little bit of wind to kind of wick away that moisture. And so speaking of that wind, as the cold front approaches today, it's going to be windy out there on the coast and for areas around the islands, yes, but right about here is where the Labor Mountain fire is. As we go throughout the day, winds are going to pick up out of the south to being sustained around 10 knots, right about where the fire is. Look at this map again. Here's this little bump right here between the county lines. Here's this little bump. The fire is just to the north. And yeah, it's going to be sustained at about 10 to 9 knots this afternoon before the rain makes its way over there. And that could push this hot area of the fire, could push these flames, instead of going east, it could push it further north. So I'm sure the firefighters and whatnot out there are paying attention to the weather, and they have meteorologists that are telling them what's coming up this afternoon. But yeah, I'm a little concerned that the fire may push further north. Not super excited about that. And as this wind increases, the relative humidity around the fire is also going to decrease, actually. Yeah, so that's not great. It's going to decrease a bit this afternoon. It's not going to be super, super low, but it's also not very high. And so that should assist, actually, in pushing the fire before the rain gets there. And it is going to be pretty gusty. As these winds increase right around the fire, it's going to be gusting to about 20 miles per hour-ish or so. So all of those things combined, I think the Labor Mountain fire may do a bit of a push today. Hopefully I am wrong. And then when the rain comes through today, it's not even going to be that much. Again, it's only going to be maybe another 0.10 or to 0.20 inches, maybe only like up to a additional quarter inch of rain or less around the Labor Mountain fire. So yeah, I don't think this round of rain is going to put out the Labor Mountain fire, unfortunately. And it's probably also not going to put out the Sugarloaf fire. The Wildcat fire may be a different story. They got a bit more rain with this most recent round than around the Labor Mountain fire, but not a ton, really, actually. It looks like maybe around 0.20, about a quarter inch, closest to that fire right there. So, yeah, but some interesting, exciting weather coming up. Thankfully for the west side of the Cascades, I would not be surprised if the Bear Gulch fire was put out. Check this out, around the Bear Gulch fire, right there at the lake, it says 0.25. But up where the fire has been burning really hot, right near there, got over 1.5 inches of rain. So several weather stations out there that got over 1.5 inches of rain, and today there is more rain coming for that fire. So today could get through Thursday or another additional 2 inches of rain out there by the Bear Gulch fire. So that's great. And lots of rain coming for west of the Cascades. But again, the thing that I'm most curious about today is just to see how this Labor Mountain fire responds. I'm really hoping that it doesn't go too much further to the north. I love the Camas Meadows that are right up there and whatnot. It's just a beautiful area. So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. The lower Sugarloaf fire with these southerly winds may be pushed right back into itself, so I'm not as concerned about the lower Sugarloaf fire. Okay, folks, if you're enjoying these videos, please make sure and subscribe. And if I get the chance to go out and do any storm chasing the next couple of days, I will do just that. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.